weeks of relentless bombardment have turned the West Asia into a furnace. Iran is using missiles built especially to slip through America's shield. And behind the smoke, a bigger question is being raised. Who helped Tehran find that weak spot? Take a look.
For almost 2 weeks, U.S. bombers have hit Iran night after night. Coastal radar, air defense sites, missile depots hit again and again. Iran took the blows and Iran hit back hard and increasingly accurately. Captured on video last week, the strike was one of several targeting Jordan's Muwafaq Salti airbase, demonstrating the persistent threat posed by Iran's ballistic missiles. One attack killed 3 U.S. soldiers, despite Donald Trump's claim that Iran's military has been totally destroyed, and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth's assertion that its missile program is functionally destroyed. Tehran retains enough missiles to threaten U.S. forces and their Gulf allies after 5 months of intermittent U.S. and Israeli strikes.
They have no military, they have no navy. They had 159 ships, everyone's at the bottom of the sea. They had 212 airplanes, everyone is gone. They have no radar, they have no anti-aircraft, they have no nothing. Other than they're mean and they're smart and they still have some capability.
So why are there missiles left to hit Jordan and result in the loss of life of our brave men and women?
As we stated from the beginning, the Iranian defense industrial base is effectively gone, but they do have underground facilities because they're the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, and they've spent 47 years trying to hide their missiles under mountains, just like their nuclear capabilities.
Tehran has rebuilt more than half of its pre-war missile stockpile using underground missile city facilities built to survive exactly this kind of war. But the real shift isn't numbers, it's design. Iranian missiles are now flying faster and maneuvering mid-descent, according to U.S. officials cited by the Wall Street Journal. That single change makes them brutally hard to intercept. Iran has vowed that every American attack will be answered strongly.
The problem is the type of approach of America, and that is their irrational, excessive and domineering approach, which has been met with strong reactions from us.
Then comes the question nobody in Washington wants answered publicly. Reuters reports U.S. intelligence is now investigating whether Russia helped Iran hit 2 CIA facilities in the Gulf. A much bigger question. Where did Iran get the information? The satellite images show the damage done to critical American military facilities across the Gulf. If that is true, the war is no longer just Iran versus the US. It is a battlefield where hostile powers may be sharing methods, intelligence, and momentum. There is a reason. Tehran looks emboldened. Iranian commanders have seen American systems tested, strained, and at times beaten. There are also questions. What objectives are being met from the continuous American bombardment? The Hormuz remains shut, there is no regime change, the ceasefire deal is in tatters, and every passing day, the toll for the Americans is rising.
I think at this point, the U.S. has expended a significant amount of its munitions. It has expended a significant amount of its air defense capabilities, as has many of its regional allies and partners. And at this point, I don't think the Iranian regime places a lot of credibility in the sustainment of these strikes And I don't see that, given all they've been through thus far, I don't see them changing their attitude here in the near term, based on some changes in targeting, particularly since they've demonstrated a willingness and capability to strike back at similar targets throughout the region.
That does not mean the shield is gone. It means the shield has cracks and Iran is driving a missile through them. The toll is savage. The war bill is growing. The destruction is measurable, seen in these satellite images shared by Iran, but the strategic message is even louder. Iran is refusing to kneel. It is learning in real time, and the next strike may be even harder to stop. Whether backed by Eastern powers or driven by indigenous engineering, Iran's message is loud and clear. American military supremacy in the region is no longer absolute, and every strike against Tehran will be answered with double the force.
Yemen's Houthis have targeted Saudi oil tankers in the Red Sea. This after announcing a blockade on Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia has been using its Red Sea ports to bypass the Hormuz Straits. But behind that, there's another question. Why is Washington sounding cautious about the Houthis, a group that it has spent years fighting? We tell you more.
The war with Iran is now threatening yet another critical choke point for global oil supplies. Yemen's Houthis say they have targeted Saudi oil tankers in the Red Sea after announcing a naval blockade on Saudi Arabia.
The armed forces will continue their naval operations against the Saudi enemy and will persist in enforcing the A siege for a siege equation. We affirm to the Saudi enemy that any folly or aggression targeting our country will be met with large-scale operations deep within its territory, and the consequences will be dire for it by Allah's will and power.
The move puts pressure on the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, just as shipping through the Strait of Hormuz remains severely disrupted. But there is another question. If Saudi tankers cannot sail south through Bab al-Mandeb, Saudi oil heading to Asia faces a much longer journey. Ships could sail north through the Suez Canal, but cargoes destined for India, China and other Asian markets would then have to sail around Africa's Cape of Good Hope before turning back towards Asia. But the Houthi move is also creating a political dilemma for Washington. The United States knows just how difficult it can be to force the Houthis to back down. US forces have repeatedly bombed Houthi missile sites, drone facilities and other military targets in Yemen starting in January 2024 till now. Yet, the group has shown an ability to absorb those strikes and continue launching missiles and drones. Now, President Donald Trump has spoken of the Houthis as tough and smart fighters. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has also expressed the expectation that the group will not automatically join Iran's war.
You know, the Houthis largely were smart and stayed out of all this throughout the conflict, but they now apparently have gotten themselves suckered into this, going after Saudi Arabia and their ships. And by the way, that's, you know, I was reading reports a few hours ago that there was actually a Saudi fuel ship that's flagged Chinese.
The US does not want another front opening in Yemen while it is already fighting Iran. But that calculation is now being tested. The Houthis have long been aligned with Tehran, and by targeting Saudi energy shipping, they are now putting direct pressure on one of the world's biggest oil exporters. It also raises the question of how far the Houthis are prepared to go. Despite years of US and allied strikes, the group has retained the ability to threaten shipping across the Red Sea. Now that capability could have much bigger consequences.
Israel is strengthening its defense system. The Israeli defense establishment is seriously considering buying the P-8 Poseidon, an aircraft built especially to target submarines and maritime warships. Now, this is happening as Israel is growing wary of Turkey's extended naval power. Take a look.
Israel could soon have a new submarine hunter. The country's defense establishment is reportedly considering buying the P-8 Poseidon. Developed for the US Navy, the P-8 is one of the world's most advanced maritime patrol aircraft. Its key mission is finding and tracking submarines. The aircraft comes with powerful radar, acoustic systems and infrared sensors. It can also carry torpedoes and other weapons to strike targets above and below the water, and it has an operational radius of around 2,200 kilometers. But Israel's interest in the aircraft comes at a significant moment. Israel is increasingly watching Turkey's military build-up. Turkey has one of the region's most powerful navies. It operates more than 10 active diesel-electric submarines. And newer submarines with air-independent propulsion are being added to the fleet. Turkey also operates frigates, corvettes, missile vessels and amphibious forces. Amid growing hostility between Israel and Turkey, US House has passed $1.15 trillion military bill expanding Israel cooperation. Trump has said the increase is necessary as the US fights a widely unpopular war on Iran. For Israel, the concern is that years of political hostility could eventually spill over into military friction. Israeli Minister Amihai Hikli has even warned about possible direct contact between the two militaries at the sea. He said such a scenario could happen as early as tomorrow morning. There is, however, no indication that a direct Israel-Turkey confrontation is imminent. And there is no P-8 deal yet. Cost remains a major obstacle. But the aircraft could become more viable if it is included in a wider agreement with Washington. Israel already says it has strong anti-submarine capabilities. The P-8 would take those capabilities further, as Israel keeps a closer watch on what is happening, both on and beneath the Mediterranean.
A new test is unfolding in South Lebanon. The state is now trying to implement on the ground a US brokered deal. But the real question here is, will that deal and agreement really deliver what Lebanon wants? An Israeli withdrawal, the return of the displaced people, and the reconstruction of South Lebanon. Take a look.
In Lebanon, attention is now turning to what comes after months of war. Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam has visited one of the southern villages battered during the fighting with Israel. Standing beside a destroyed building, Salam planted a Lebanese flag and promised to rebuild damaged homes and infrastructure. But his visit was also political. Beirut is trying to show that Lebanese state and not Hezbollah can reassert control over the south. Lebanon and Israel signed a US brokered agreement in late June. The deal calls for the Lebanese military to deploy in areas where Hezbollah had a military presence and influence. In return, Israeli forces are expected to withdraw from areas they occupy in southern Lebanon. The first test will come in the so-called pilot zones. These are a series of southern villages where the Lebanese army is expected to deploy following an Israeli withdrawal. But there are already major differences over how that will happen. Lebanon wants Israel to withdraw from significant areas as soon as possible. Beirut wants to show its people that diplomacy can return occupied territory and allow displaced families to go home. Israel, however, has signaled that it wants to maintain security zones beyond its border. That has raised questions over whether a full withdrawal will actually take place. Washington is now at the center of efforts to bridge that gap. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun met US President Donald Trump earlier this week at the White House. Trump pledged support for the Lebanese government as it seeks to extend state control across the country. He also said he would be open to direct talks with Hezbollah.
Are you still speaking with Hezbollah? You said in previous interviews that you're speaking with Hezbollah.
I wouldn't say that, but I would speak to Hezbollah, yeah. I speak to everybody. I'll speak to people that a lot of people think I shouldn't be speaking to, and things work out. I would speak to
Mr. President,
I would say this, if the president wanted me to speak to Hezbollah, you know, he's lived with Hezbollah for a long time. And if the president wanted me to speak to Hezbollah, I would. You know? I would.
The diplomatic push follows months of devastating war. The latest conflict erupted on March 2nd after Hezbollah fired rockets towards Israel in support of Iran. Israel responded with a large-scale air campaign and ground invasion of Lebanon. More than 4,000 people were killed and around 1.2 million were displaced. Now Beirut is betting on a different approach. The government wants the Lebanese army to move into the south. It wants Israel's forces to move out.
The Lebanese army doesn't need permission to enter a Lebanese town, but they did this formula, I don't know why. Anyway, it's very good for the Lebanese army to take over areas in the south of Lebanon because there is no alternative to the Lebanese army.
There will be an early test of whether the Lebanese state can reassert its authority and whether the US brokered deal can turn a fragile end to the fighting into a lasting arrangement on the ground.
In West Asia, the security order has been changing rapidly. Iran has changed and altered the strategic calculus in the region. Now, Saudi Arabia wants nuclear weapons, Turkey wants F-35 jets, and it looks like the region is heading towards an arms race. We tell you more.
West Asia's security order is changing and perhaps more rapidly than at any point in recent years. The war with Iran has already altered the region's strategic calculus, exposing vulnerabilities, testing air defense systems, and putting missiles, drones, and deterrence at the heart of the security debate. One of the most important shifts is taking place in Saudi Arabia. Riyadh has long sought to develop a civilian nuclear program, and its nuclear ambitions have become an important part of its relationship with Washington.
Well, again, this agreement is still being worked out. It will eventually, hopefully, be finalized with the condition that the president spoke about this morning. But this agreement in particular, as it's been discussed thus far, does give priority access for American companies in the Saudi nuclear energy program, which will ultimately benefit American industry workers and supply chains.
But the question has always extended beyond civilian nuclear energy. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has previously said that if Iran ever developed a nuclear weapon, Saudi Arabia would seek one as well. And that makes every development surrounding Iran's nuclear program critical for Riyadh. There is also another player in this equation. Pakistan, Saudi Arabia and nuclear-armed Pakistan have deep and long-standing defense ties, and their security relationship has drawn fresh attention as Riyadh looks to strengthen its deterrence. That does not mean Pakistan is providing Saudi Arabia with nuclear weapons. There is no public evidence of that. But in a region where security calculations are shifting rapidly, the relationship is being watched closely. And then there is Turkey. Ankara is once again seeking access to the F-35 from Washington, D.C., one of the world's most advanced stealth fighter aircraft. Turkey was removed from the F-35 program after purchasing Russia's S-400 air defense system.
Regarding the F-35s, Mr. Trump actually has a positive approach towards Turkey. God willing, when the F-35s are delivered to Turkey, the whole world will say that America kept its promise.
Iran has demonstrated the importance of missiles, drones and strategic deterrence. Saudi Arabia is pursuing a nuclear energy program while deepening its security partnerships. Turkey wants access to fifth-generation fighter jets. Israel already possesses one of the region's most advanced militaries and is widely believed to possess nuclear weapons, although it maintains a policy of nuclear ambiguity. The result is a region where every major power is watching what the other is acquiring and adjusting its own security calculations accordingly.
That's all we have for you on this episode of the West Asia Post. I will see you next week with a brand new lineup, always bringing you the most recent updates, news, and ground reports from the most volatile region in the world. I'm your host, Ghadi Francis, signing off from Beirut, Lebanon. For more global news, keep on watching WION World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
YO1 Health Resort is unique, the only one of its kind. Experience the 4 paths of natural wellness: yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy. Each uniquely customized program improves the whole person to make every person whole. Come to YO1 Health Resort. Make your reservation at yo1.com.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble, how many lives were destroyed, how many kids were traumatized, how many women lost their families. If this isn't a war crime, then what is? From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Ghadi Francis for WION World is One.
The Mini Cooper S will bring zest into your life. There's absolutely nothing like driving a car like this, the new Mini Cooper S, on a Monday morning to drive away the blues. The BSA Scrambler is one heck of a good-looking ride. A content creator needs all the tools of the trade.
That's where you're wrong.
It's not?
No,
it looks like a headphone.
It's a fan.
But the secret to going fast on track remains much the same.
Slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Catch Diksha's wire-to-wire win in a go-kart race, our shenanigans in a Mini Cooper S, and a morning ride on a retro bike. All these stories and more in this week's episode of WION Drive at these times.
From the bustling trading floors of